Welcome to the deep dive. You know, ever feel a bit uncertain stepping into a pharmacy in an English-speaking country?
hmm
Whether you're maybe traveling or just brushing up on your English or you just want to be better informed. Well, we're diving into how you can handle those visits with more confidence.
Exactly. Yeah, we've looked closely at a dialogue from Real English Talk, actually, to pull out those really essential phrases
Okay.
and the key vocabulary, the typical situations you might run into. Think of this as your kind of shortcut to feeling, well, prepared.
Our goal today is pretty straightforward then. Just equip you with practical English skills, some insights to make that next pharmacy trip hopefully smooth and stress-free.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Maybe start by unpacking some must-know vocabulary. Let's kick off with prescription.
Okay, prescription.
Yeah.
So as the dialogue we looked at shows, this is basically that official instruction from your doctor.
Okay.
It lets you get specific medicines. So someone might say, I need to pick up my prescription for antibiotics.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And it's a really crucial distinction, isn't it? Because it tells the pharmacy staff, okay, this medicine needs that doctor's okay.
Right, it's not just something you grab off the shelf. Which brings us to the next term. Over-the-counter, often just called OTC.
Ah, yes, OTC.
So this is the stuff you can buy without a prescription. You know, your standard pain relievers, maybe cough syrups.
Mhm.
Like in the example, you could buy pain relievers over the counter. Knowing the difference prescription versus OTC is really key. It dictates if you need to see a doctor first.
That's a great point. And it's interesting how culturally, in many English-speaking places, people might try OTC things first for minor issues before, escalating to a doctor visit.
Definitely happens.
Hmm.
Okay, who do you talk to there? The pharmacist?
Right, the pharmacist, this is the trained healthcare professional. They're the ones preparing and actually giving you the medications.
Okay.
The example phrase was, the pharmacist will explain how to take your medicine. And they really are such a valuable resource. Don't hesitate to ask them questions.
Absolutely. Which leads nicely into dosage, another term you'll definitely hear.
Dosage. So this is about the amount of medicine you should take at one time, and crucially, how often.
Right. Vital stuff.
Absolutely vital. For the medicine to work properly and, safely, the example stressed, follow the dosage instructions carefully.
Cannot stress that enough, really.
Yeah, right.
Your own well-being.
Exactly. And one more for this section. Refill.
Ah, refills, yes.
So this is when you need more of your prescription medicine. Your original supply might be running low, and you need another batch, but without a brand new doctor's appointment every time.
Okay.
So you might say, I need a refill on my allergy medication. How you get these can vary a bit, pharmacy to pharmacy, so it's good to know their process.
Good tip. Should you call ahead?
Yeah, calling ahead is usually best. It helps to have your name, the medicine name, maybe the prescription number if you have it. Makes it quicker.
Right.
And some places even let you request refills online now, which is handy.
Okay, so that's a solid vocabulary base. Now let's see how this all kind of plays out in a real chat at the pharmacy.
Yeah, let's do that. Our source had this short but really useful dialogue. A customer picking up a prescription.
So how does it start?
The customer just walks up and says, Hi, I'm here to pick up a prescription for Sarah Lee. Very standard, very direct, tells them exactly why you're there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Straight to the point. And the pharmacist.
The pharmacist replies, Sure, one moment please, do you have your ID?
Ah, the ID question. Why might they ask for that? Seems important.
It really is. It's mostly a security thing, making absolutely sure they give the right medicine to the right person, especially important for certain, controlled medication.
Okay, controlled ones. But I wonder, are there times they wouldn't ask for ID, even for a prescription?
That's an interesting thought. Generally, they really prioritize checking ID for prescriptions. Policies might vary slightly, maybe for less sensitive meds or if they know you well, but...
But best practice is just have it ready.
Exactly. Always best to have it handy. For over-the-counter stuff, though, you usually won't need ID.
Good to know. Okay, so back to the dialogue. The pharmacist checks the ID, then says what?
Then they say, Great, here's your medicine. Take 1 tablet twice a day with food.
Okay, that's the core instruction right there. So much key info, how much, how often, and any special conditions, like with food.
Precisely. You really need to listen closely to that part. It's vital.
Definitely. And then the customer asks something smart.
Yeah, a really proactive question. Thank you. Do I need to come back for a refill? Good thinking ahead helps plan things out.
I like that. Planning ahead. And the pharmacist responds.
The pharmacist clarifies, you have 2 refills available. Just call us when you need more. So it answers the question and tells them the next step, just call. Simple.
Okay, so that exchange gives a really good feel for it. Thinking about that, what are some other, like, common but really crucial questions someone might want to ask? Things our listeners should keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a great takeaway. Based on what we've seen and just, well, good practice, asking how often should I take this
Yeah.
is fundamental. Just double checking that frequency.
Can't hurt to confirm. What else?
Another big one. Are there any side effects? You really want to be aware of potential reactions, right? For your own health and safety.
Absolutely. Forewarned is forearmed. And like in the dialogue, that question about food.
Yes. Do I need to take this with food? That's such a smart question. Sometimes it helps the medicine work better. Sometimes it prevents, stomach upset.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Well, there's the practical side. Can I get a refill today? Maybe you're already running low. Good to know if you can sort it out right then and there.
Avoids a gap in treatment. Good one. And you mentioned cost earlier.
Ah, yes. A very savvy question, especially if you're watching your budget. Is there a generic version of this medicine?
Generics. Let's talk a bit more about those later. But yeah, asking that can save you money.
Absolutely. It's a great way to potentially lower the cost without sacrificing the actual medication quality. These are all just, well, excellent questions to have in your back pocket.
Okay, so armed with those questions, maybe we can expand the vocabulary just a little bit more, touch on some related terms.
Sounds good. Let's circle back to a few we mentioned.
Okay.
So, side effects, we said ask about them. They're basically those unintended symptoms that might pop up from taking a medicine.
Right, the unwanted extras.
Exactly. Knowing the term helps you spot them and report them if needed to your doctor or pharmacist.
Good point. And generic, we just mentioned that.
Right. The generic version, it's usually more budget-friendly than the brand name drug.
But it's the same medicine, essentially.
Same active ingredient, yes. Held to the same quality and effectiveness standards. It might just look different color, different shape, maybe.
Okay, good clarification. What about forms of medicine, like not just pills?
Good one. You might hear about a cream. That's medicine you put on your skin, right? For rashes or something localized.
Applied externally. Got it.
Yeah.
And for kids, maybe.
Often syrup, that liquid medicine. Generally easier for kids or even adults who struggle with pills to swallow.
Makes sense. And a common one people look for.
Painkiller. Pretty self-explanatory, that one. Medicine specifically to help with pain.
Okay.
Just being familiar with these terms, seeing them on labels, hearing the pharmacist say them, it really boosts your understanding. Makes the whole thing less intimidating.
Definitely. Wow, we've actually covered quite a bit. Any final bonus tips, things listeners can do to make their pharmacy visits even smoother?
Yes, definitely got a few quick ones. First, always a good idea. Bring your photo ID and your insurance card if you use insurance.
Just speeds things up.
Yeah, helps with verification, speeds up the process, ensures the billing is right, just practical.
Makes sense, and something we've hit on a few times.
Ask questions. Seriously. If you are unsure about anything related to your medicine, please ask. The pharmacist is there to help. That's their job. They want you to understand.
So true. Don't be shy. Okay, what else?
Follow the dosage instructions exactly. We mentioned dosage earlier. Take it seriously. It's crucial for the medicine to work right and crucially for your safety.
Right. Don't estimate it.
No, definitely not. And one last thing. If you start feeling unwell or notice weird symptoms after starting a new medicine,
Don't just wait.
don't wait. Call your doctor. Get advice promptly.
Okay, really good practical advice there.
So, yeah, wrapping it up, hopefully you feel you now have a much clearer picture, some essential pharmacy words, some great questions to ask.
And just generally what to expect when you visit a pharmacy in an English-speaking place.
Exactly. And it really all comes down to clear communication, doesn't it?
It really does. That clarity makes those visits quicker, easier, and just safer for everyone.
Which kind of leads to a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe chew on.
Oh, go on.
Think about the last time you went to a pharmacy, even if it was in your first language. Were there any bits where communication felt, I don't know, tricky, or where you weren't 100% sure?
Good question.
And then think bigger. What other everyday situations, like going to the bank or the grocery store or asking for directions, how might those become simpler, less stressful, just by knowing some specific English vocabulary for them? Makes you think, right?